Bitcoin just surged up to $59,000 and quickly got followed by a small correction to 58.5k. This does not look good at this stage. And today we will discuss why it does not look good, what actually expects us in the crypto market, and what is the narrative, what is the ecosystem that should be pumping the first in the upcoming final reversal of the market. Without further ado, let's actually start. Firstly, we have to check out our chart of Bitcoin. Right now, we're at $51.1 thousand for BTC. We were as high as 59.3k, and we're pretty much dumping and in a correction from there. It doesn't look good for the reasons that I pretty much was sharing in yesterday's video, because we scooped up this liquidity. We got this liquidity from people short in the market. And right now we're pretty much going down, and we have a level of liquidity for people long in Bitcoin at around $56,000, right? 57, 56. But the issue that we actually have is that there's probably a certain level of liquidity around $53,000 as well, below the previous low. And what the market makers might actually do, they might actually scoop up this liquidity around $53,000. Personally, I do not plan for this scenario. I kind of plan for this scenario, because if this would be happening, I would just stay at my PC, at my Mac. I would just make sure to have funds available to loan, to buy more stuff, and probably see what will be happening in terms of the market as well. But we have strong liquidity levels currently, a bunch of liquidity. It's around $56,000 at this stage. And following the current price action, unfortunately, there is a high chance that we might actually go lower to take this liquidity by the market makers, right? And the issue is that if they would be as low as here, there is a chance that we would be going lower to 53k and just kind of revisit and plant the new low. New low would mean that most of the loans, they would get liquidated. Obviously, this liquidation map is not like a final source of information. Probably the situation is a bit different. It only shows Bitcoin and Binance, right? But it still shows us something. And I honestly do expect that liquidity below the previous lows at $53,000 is actually way larger than we see currently on this liquidation map. Thinking of our scenario in terms of our indicator, right? If something like this would be happening, we would definitely revisit our long 10x line as well. And as mentioned, we should get bounced from there. Fundamentally, it does not look that bad, right? Because if we would check out the chart of Ethereum if we would check out the chart of Nasdaq to Ethereum, we can see that Ethereum is heavily underperforming Nasdaq. And historically, when something like this was happening, pretty much we're pumping heavily from there. And like at this stage, we're in the largest decorrelation in terms of crypto assets and Ethereum underperforming Nasdaq. And we are definitely in a situation where people who are controlling the market, they're removing uncertainty from the market. MTGOG sales, Germany sales, GBTC as well, they're pretty much removing the uncertainty out of the market. Why? Because the market hates it. Why? Because people with really like large capital, billions of dollars, they won't like to be entering something with nice amount of money when there is a bunch of uncertainty in there. Once there are ETFs, once there are no like these black swan events with someone being able to dump large supply of the asset that you are buying, it's just a free flow. Like everything I see currently seems to me like this preparation of the lane for takeout. It's everything I see. And this kind of final take that we have is uncertainty around Ethereum ETF, which to me seems like it's actually being done on purpose. We are not sure about the trade, and there is some misunderstanding in terms of whether or not it's actually the approval or it's the start of trading of Ethereum ETF. That would like to show the price action of Bitcoin itself during the time when BTC ETF was actually approved. And I do believe that there are quite a lot of similarities with the current situation as well, because we can see that the fractal that we had back then is actually quite similar to the fractal that we're having currently, to my knowledge, right now, right? So here we get our approval of Bitcoin ETF, but we did not get our start of trading for Bitcoin ETF. We had a dump there. We were dumping multiple times with multiple weeks. We got a final week down. The difference here is that currently we already got 2 weeks down, right? And then we surged up from there. And what I wanted to share is the fractal around the BTC ETF approval. This was the exact date of BTC approval, ETF, and the trading actually started later. And we had 1 month of downward chop right here. And to me, this fractal actually looks somewhat similar to what we are seeing on the marketplace currently. If we would just copy and if we would just enlarge this a bit, we had our Ethereum ETF approval right here, right at the end of May, and we're pretty much just dumping from there. Dumping, and we also had this week down around the BTC ETF before the final reversal, right, to make sure that all the leverage is wide out. We already have 2 weeks like this right here. It's a very, very distant situation, and it's interesting that they might just be playing out the same, like they might just be using the same playbook. Why they need to figure out something else? And everything that they set up, it works quite nicely, because I do love the current sentiment around Ethereum and around the things that happen with the ecosystem very, very much. People view Ethereum as something bearish, and it's pretty much happening less than 1 week before Ethereum ETF, where there are essentially no reasons, 0 reasons to expect different price movement from Ethereum than the price movement from BTC. Once the ETF trading started, not approval, but trading. Exactly the same thing is happening. And as mentioned, with the start of trading on BTC, we saw a 70% move up. And Ethereum-wise, the asset is actually way lower in total market capitalization, right? People definitely know about Ethereum at this stage. Like, there are firms on Wall Street who are onboarding large investors into Ethereum as well. A bunch of supply is actually not available on the marketplace. Liquid risk taken, just defaults taken as well. It's a very, very interesting situation. And we also have DeFi for Ethereum. Do you know that one of the main reasons Ethereum actually surged up like crazy in the last cycle was the introduction of DeFi? Because a bunch of people started to participate in this on-chain Ponzi. They started to stake and restake and farm. And it essentially, what it led to, it got a bunch of Ethereum out of the circulation, which made it way easier for the smaller supply to actually pump it. It's always easier to pump when the supply is very, very low and demand is high. This is just a default rules of this market. So I'm constantly thinking about this ecosystem that I think will be surging up the first. And I don't want to overcomplicate things, because I tend to do it from time to time. I do want to be stupid right now. Ethereum ETF, Ethereum surging up, therefore Ethereum ecosystem should be moving up. And current sentiment definitely helps this thought process as well, because people view Ethereum as something bearish, because alt sentiment is at all-time lows at this stage. I do honestly believe that right now we have generational wealth opportunities for actually buying into altcoins. And one thing I wanted to specifically touch on as well is because we definitely see that memes are essentially one of the first categories to pump back like very, very nicely after the pump. And a lot of people, they tend to connect it with the fact that Memecoin assets are strong. That's why they essentially will continue to run, things like that. I'm not saying that they will not continue to run. Most likely they will. They still are very, very easy to understand, very, very easy to invest. Just that upside in some larger assets might be limited, but at the same time, you have to understand that when the assets are larger, yes, the upside is limited, but it's also more welcoming for the larger capital to be entering these larger cap assets. And this is the specifically thing that they're doing, because you cannot be entering in lower caps with nice amounts of money. You want to see the product actually get established. You want to see it going through multiple corrections. You want to see the resilience from the community and from whales. And then essentially is the time where you would want to enter yourself. And the reason that I think that memes essentially pumped up the first is because they were oversold the most. Is because the first thing that people are dumping through the market crash is memes, because they don't see this intrinsic underlying value in terms of the meme coins. That's why they get dumped the most, and that's why they actually are recovering the best as well. So this is actually one of the psyop that's happening. In terms of like default your altcoin ecosystems that are a nice thing to enter currently, man, I do think that like the most stupid option right now is just Ethereum layer 2s. What's better? Like, imagine this money just coming into the market. Imagine what people will be doing with like this alt season and all these liquidity on the marketplace, because in general conditions on the market should be changing with Ethereum surging up, because BTC should be surging up as well. A bunch of new liquidity should actually be added into the market. Retail coming back because they are coming back into the green candles. All season starting off because Ethereum is finally moving, and all season only starts with Ethereum finally moving. And like this safe beta place for large amount of people in the marketplace would be Ethereum layer 2s. And obviously established Ethereum meme coins. And it's kind of great on Ethereum. It's even better than on Solana because established memes right there, they have a large trading history. A lot of them essentially memes from last summer, like Boba, for example. Wojak you also have as well. It essentially outlined, it was created at the times when Pepe was launched too, similar to Boba, right? This is a very, very interesting situation that people might be looking for the asset to actually outperform Ethereum 100%. They not might be looking, they are looking, and they will be looking way more. Because in the first place, you have people who are holding Ethereum, and they will be taking the profits from Ethereum and repositioning into other assets into Ethereum ecosystem. And secondly, you would have people who miss this wave fully. What they would want to do, they would essentially want to outperform even the fact that they missed this wave fully. Therefore, they would be looking into meme coins, Ethereum specific meme coins. This is going to be a big week for crypto industry. If Ethereum ETF gets approved and starts trading this week, it will really kickstart the biggest alt season in crypto history. So keep praying for our backs. This is true because we did not have this inflows of institutional capital ever before. Probably the same way as with BTC, it will probably take some time to kickstart, like some more and more inflows. At the same time, what the market knows already, that people who bought BTC ETF early, they were like in big profits, stock market wise, very, very nice profits in a very, very short amount of time. Therefore, the price action like that can actually cause certain FOMO in our current situation. It would be very, very interesting because before that part of market, it was not very, very educated. And we were not very, very educated on the fact what actually is happening with the introduction of start of trading of the ETF, of the crypto asset. And currently they know BTC was at $38,000. People that bought, they were able to do almost a 2x, like 70% in the time frame of 2 months, and they could have entered with size. Tell me, where in the stock market you can actually receive this type of returns? It's almost like BlackRock is specifically preparing this beautiful situation for the Ethereum ETF investors too, because essentially the best marketing for any asset is the number goes up, and they are crafting this situation where we crypto degens, crypto market, we are scared, we're not buying Ethereum, we think it's going down. They're carefully creating this situation so when essentially the trading starts, people who would be buying, their friends, institutions, they would be in profits. This would just be the best thing because they need to keep the price low for people who would be entering through ETF to actually make money, because this is the best type of marketing. You don't need ads, you don't need like some shit, you just need number to go up. 40% of Ethereum supply is basically locked up, 28% staked, 12% in smart contracts and bridges. With the imminent trading start of the Ethereum ETF, institutional interest is set to rise. Exchange supply is shrinking. Ethereum is priced for a price rally. Very, very interesting situation, kind of similar to the previous cycle as well, because DeFi essentially had similar type of effect on Ethereum as the current situation as well. Pretty much the main reason it's staked and it's locked is also because of the DeFi. Memes will destroy alts simply because the meme pumps will be 10 to 50x bigger. And it's the pumps that everyone truly wants. Be truthful and honest with yourself. The reason I'm showing you this tweet is because, as mentioned in some of my previous videos, when the thesis is starting to get accepted by the largest amount of people on the market, I start to be stressed. I don't understand, maybe I'm wrong, because I start to understand that I might just not have the edge anymore, because thesis is accepted. At the same time, in terms of memes, we are at a very, very interesting spot because they are outperforming through the whole year, and there are still so many people that did not capitulate to them. It was like not enough pain, and partially it makes sense because they're probably seeing currently a lot of these memes correcting after the wave. So they're probably sitting and thinking, oh man, like I thought exactly like this, they corrected, they're going nowhere and things like that. And in the additional leg up that will be connected with the largest leg up on Ethereum, man, they can start just to capitulate finally and heavily into these things as well. And that's essentially what is quite interesting from this point of view as well, that we still have a large capitulation that might be undergoing in the future. At the same time with alts, they have hundreds of millions of dollars that they will be putting and pumping into the charts with very, very low circulating supply. With most of this supply in their hands, they can print any type of number on the chart. And the sentiment for alts is quite at the all-time lows at this stage. Honestly, I'm a bit stressed that I don't have a lot of exposure to alts. Mostly I have exposure to memes. But I do understand that memes that I hold, they are essentially just leverage bets on liquidity inflows that are coming into certain ecosystems. That's what makes me calm, because I do understand my assets. Bottoms are scary and hard to nail. Even the best in the game are wrong sometimes. But what sets them apart from everyone else is the ability to adapt quickly. That's the reason why they are rich and you are poor. Let go of your pride and be like water, my friend. I'm reading this the first time. I was not expecting the guy to call me poor, right? More likely than not, this is the playbook on alts now. We were all dancing until the music stopped. You have to think a 60% plus crash in Outland is the music stopping. Insiders will now take any bounce liquidity as an opportunity to liquidate bags they got for next to nothing. It was pretty much around the bottom, right? GCR, altcoin holders in disbelief as the tokens only dump, despite strength in equities. Shouldn't, plus in other risk assets will eventually lift all tides. A closer look reveals small caps have lagged for months as dollars rotates into quality stocks, still nowhere near the alt bottom. It was exactly the alt bottom. So these are just very, very interesting things that even like smartest people on the market, they tend to follow the overall narrative. They tend to succumb. They tend to just start to repeat the main narrative as well. It's quite hard to change in certain parts of the market. And I love the duality of opinions at this stage. I definitely love that certain people, they're just screaming, they're bearish, they're selling, they're in shorts and things like that. Anti-GOX and German government selling is no longer having a negative effect. Ethereum ETF is imminent. Everyone is now feeling for Solana ETFs. The bull normally starts a few months after the halving, US elections and rate cuts later this year. This is pretty much a fundamental overview of the current market situation. It's definitely very, very bullish at this stage. But yeah, the first sentence as mentioned, I do see people who control this market removing uncertainty from this market, which is a very, very important thing, a very, very bullish thing. That means that they're preparing this for the large capital inflows. There is no other reason they would be doing that. No other reason they would be doing that. And I was showing you the chart of NASDAQ in comparison to Ethereum already. It's at all-time lows. It should just be reversing quite soon. Honestly, I do believe if you are in the stock market currently, this is exactly the time to rebalance some of your portfolio into Ethereum. Because probably if you're in the stock market, you're a bit more conservative investor. I do believe this is the exact time to rebalance some of your portfolio into Ethereum. If you go lower from here, just rebalance somewhere. But I personally don't think so. Just see this price movement and see what's happening currently. And stocks, they're usually front-running crypto as well, because crypto is a risk asset, and essential risk assets, they're tending to get appreciated a bit later in the liquidity cycle. But this is the time, from my point of view, to reposition some of your stocks into Ethereum. I'm not suggesting you to do some stupid stuff, because honestly, the thing that I want to say is this is the time to reposition some of your stocks into Boba, right? You will probably don't do that. You will probably not do that, right? Because it's a leverage bet on Ethereum. Leverage bet on Pepe. He's cracking. Breaking news. Fed Chair Powell says holding rates high for too long could jeopardize economic growth. So he started talks in a way to finally cut the rates, right? Which would be bullish for the market. Something interesting I wanted to share as well. And to finalize everything that we've went through, very, very simple things that are usually the best. Business in life. 3 times this cycle, the price action made me go from bullish to thinking F. It may really be over. All 3 times printed the same lows on the RSI daily and bull dips. This resolved twice in a 100% crypto run. And we really have a very, very large RSI divergence currently on the chart of BTC. We can see that. We can see the comparison right here. Here we have it, pump, right here. Here we have it, pump. Right now we have it very, very vividly. You can see it on the chart. That's just one of the metrics, but it's just like this very, very simple thing to have to analyze overall. As mentioned, I don't like very much what Bitcoin is doing currently. I'm still sitting in my longs. I might get liquidated one more time finally if BTC will decide to print additional long. Following liquidations and liquidity that essentially market makers would be able to take out if they would be doing something like that, 56k, around 56k is our level. Unfortunately, if we would be going through, we might easily just go lower based on the fact that there is nothing under there till our like strong support levels and new lows, and essentially the fact that they will be closing longs. Therefore, they will be forcefully sold into the chart, dumping the chart further as well. Overall, I'm staying bullish at this stage. I'm staying in my longs, just preparing and planning for the stage, just preparing and planning for the situation if we would actually go lower at this stage. But I do think that my initial plan and overview will play out. And as mentioned, I do like the current sentiment. I do like the things that are happening on the marketplace as well. And I think the most stupid thing, the thing that will be just running the first, is Ethereum ecosystem memes, Ethereum ecosystem projects. This is just the most stupid thing out there. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Bye bye.